recorded, and anyone from the team have any question? You can unmute your, or you can raise the hand here.
Okay, Samkit, I'm Abhishek. Am I audible?
Yeah, Abhishek, you are audible.
Yeah, so I can ask a question.
Yes, Abhishek, please go on.
I have a couple of questions, but since you have already told, we need to ask just one. So
Yeah,
I'll.
if we have time at the last, you can ask. If not, that question is not been asked by any of the team, you can ask again, but after everyone has asked, then only.
So my question is actually last time when this meeting was held, so we were told that MOEF and CPCB norms we have to follow as per the for the emission standards. But I actually searched these emission standards and I came to know that right now only for power plants, thermal power plants, and for other things, for other industries, they have set the standards. But for pyrolysis plants specifically, I didn't get any kind of emission standard on their website, CPCB website. For the thermal power plants, they have given. So I want to know what are the expected values and with what standard do we need to compare emission norms.
So can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Abhishek Saxena. I'm from Jaipur.
From Jaipur. From which organization?
Sir, I'm an entrepreneur basically. So our firm name is Greenhouse Dynamics. Yeah.
Okay. So this regarding the norms, basically the norms which are applicable here are for the waste to energy plant. So all the norms which are, because this is, this is agro waste. So if you are processing agro waste, then you have to follow the rules of agro waste to energy plants. So there are 10, 11 parameters which MOF has identified, 11 parameters, I think. So those parameters should be within limits.
Sir, can you tell us specifically from this
Yeah,
MOEF?
we will share those parameters on the website if you require, or you can refer the MOF website also.
So actually, I tried to find it out for MOEF, and then they diverted to CPCB link. So
Okay.
in that, I couldn't find waste, particularly waste to energy plants.
I will ask my people to share it with Sankit, and they will share with you.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
They will share with all the candidates. ठीक है साहा, वो जो 11 पैरामीटर्स का जो वो है ना लिस्ट है, प्रणय साहा, ठीक है?
ओके सर, वो एनवायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट में आता है ईपी अंडर सर, मैं कर दूंगा।
वो 11 पैरामीटर्स का लिस्ट जो है शेयर कर देना, या तो अगर MOF का वेबसाइट का लिंक हो तो वो शेयर कर देना, नहीं तो अपने पास जो टेबल है वो शेयर कर सकते। Although most of them will not be applicable for agro waste plant like dioxin, furan, I don't know whether it will be there or not, but it is better to follow all those 11 guidelines. This hydrochloric acid fumes, and those may not be present in this, but it is always better to follow all those guidelines.
Okay. Also, like we will update this particular information as soon as we receive from NTPC. We will update in the resource section. When you toggle to your dashboard, you will find one resource option. We will put that information in the resource option.
So basically, the most important is that particulate emission should not be there. So you have to take care of the particulate emissions from the torrefaction unit, and additionally those other parameters. So particulate emission limit, I think, is 150 or something, 150 milligram per nm cube. So that should be met.
All right, thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Myself, Pawan Kumar from NIT Srinagar, BTech final year student. Sir, can we get any data regarding the reactions and the product that is forming in the torrefied reactor? Because in some journal papers, actually, we have that data. but if we use that data, we might have to take the permission. No, that's why.
Can you repeat your query? It is not clear.
Okay. So, actually, sir, we are trying to run the this torrefication process with a simulation in Aspen Plus. But there, to do so, we need the composition of the substances that are non-conventional components that are coming out of the.
You can take you can model your system using rice straw.
Yes, sir. Feed we have taken rice straw only,
Yeah.
but the product composition and the gas emissions.
So those you have to find out, no? How we will give it to you.
Actually, sir, because without doing experimental analysis, we can't find them. Sir.
We are interested in actual model, not the theoretical some simulation.
Okay. Okay.
So we want to make a torrefaction machine which is suitable for torrefaction at a small scale as well as up to 10 ton per day. So that is the aim, and that we want to do as soon as possible. The pathway which you are suggesting or choosing, it is all maybe good for the academic purpose. We are interested in actual things.
Okay.
Also, request all to turn on their webcams, and also when you start asking the question, before that, can you introduce yourself and also your team name? Because this particular problem you are working with team also, so there is a team name. You already decided your team name while you are submitting the ideas and all. So please introduce your team name also before asking your question. Thank you. Next, please.
Yeah, we have a question. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are from the NABI, CIB Mohali. It's a DBT institute. Myself is Dr. Jagmar Roy, and we have Dr. Sasi Kumar Illupalai. He's a chemical engineer. So we have a project from PSA office, Principal Scientific office, and where we have already a torrefaction unit is there, and we have also the leaching unit. So we have run the system, but we have a query about that disclosing the material of construction of various component, heat, mass, balance diagram, piping, instrument diagram. So these are the features. We have IPR protection there. So we have signed a IPR protection with one private industry from Sweden. It's a BioNTech, PSA, and Navi. So we are not able, we are very uncomfortable to disclose these IPR protected diagram, all those things. So what we do with that?
Actually, this scheme is for Indian entrepreneurs who want to establish their own startups based on this technology, and the sole aim is to develop the more and more players from India, from the indigenous technology, and we are going to handhold them. So unless you share those things, it is not possible. If you already have a Swedish handholding, so I think you may go through that route also. Then your things are protected by IPR of the Swedish company. Then you can do you don't need the handholding of NTPC in that case. You can start producing the material and deliver to us. We have already come out with the tenders.
Yeah. So we have already scale up. So we have started working on that. You know, it's already working. We have the data information for that also.
So I've seen your plant, but that is all experimental plant, which I can understand that that is using electrical heating, and then you are flaring up the all these gases which are this torrefaction gases. So you are not recycling them. So that plant I have seen, that is a university experimental model, not a commercial kind of thing.
So right now, no, it's working. For last 1 year, it's working.
But it is working on the electricity, no? You are heating it through electricity, and then you are flaring all the gases which are coming from torrefaction process. So it is not a commercially viable model. It is just for experimentation. So you can go on carrying out your experimentation, but how you will do the commercial scale things from that, I am not clear. I have seen that plant.
Okay. Okay, then thank you.
So is it okay or not, or I'm not, or anything much has been done there? Because when I saw it, I think 7-8 months back, that time it was like this only.
No, right now it is fully commissioned. It is running properly. Actually, we have seen that, and we are advised by the PSA, that is Principal Scientific
No,
Advisor.
is it commercially running?
It's not. We are not able to produce commercially, but we are demonstrating the process here.
Yeah. So process is always clear. It is not a new process. No, it is 100 years old process. Torrefaction is nothing new. Everybody knows that in the absence of oxygen, if you heat it, it will get torrefied. So that is what you are doing in a nitrogen environment, in that machine, using electric heating. So that is all known things, no? But we want the commercial product. We want that you should be able to produce commercially using some machine.
We are going for the second phase for the commercialization. I think PSA has asked us to submit proposal to scale up to 10 tons per day of the capacity. So that we are proposing to PSA.
Yeah, you can do that. If you have several other channels of doing that, then it is okay. So you can pursue those first. But if you want to pursue these things through NTPC, then these things are required, because it has been designed for Indian technology to contribute in this field. So therefore, we want them to submit the design so that we can handhold them. Okay. If you have already handholding from the PSA and other departments, I think it is good. You can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good evening. This is from CSR IICT Hyderabad, and myself is Vijay Anand. I have my student with me. She is Ashni Patnaik. Yeah. My query here is, we have actually developed a bench scale, but it is a batch type process where we have chosen different agricultural waste to convert it into biocoal. Okay. Now we want to take it to the kind of 100 kg per day plant, where we are looking at the properties of black pellet as well as the green pellet. Query here is there any standards for this pellet, the black pellet?
What is green pellet?
Green pellet is the pellet which is not torrefied. Means as received agricultural waste, you just mill it and then make a pellet.
Okay.
And then take it for your whatever the co-firing in the boilers.
Yeah, brown pellet.
Is to improve the properties like removal of moisture and densifying, and also handling the storage purposes also. Torrefied pellet, that is black pellet, definitely has got advantage. And is there any guiding factors for that? What should be the black pellet properties and the green pellet properties? Accordingly, we will choose this torrefication process parameters, and the design also come in that way.
Basically, this the normal pellets, we call them normal pellets in NTPC. Those green pellets which we are referring to. So those we are already procuring. Okay. We don't have sufficient manufacturers to supply us the torrefied pellets. So we are interested to develop that technology, and this exercise is only for that purpose only.
Oh, yeah.
So this torrefied material basically have several advantages, like grindability improves, and then the calorific value improves.
Definitely.
Potential improves. So you can store they do not absorb moisture. You can store them longer. then some of the harmful substances also get evaporated, like chlorine, etc. The percentage remains less, which are detrimental for the boiler steel. So high chromium steel gets corroded because of that. So all those things are there that the torrefaction process provides some improvement. And the normal milling system of our power plant can take care of this kind of material, because it is almost similar with natural coal. So those things which I have mentioned, that it should be like the natural coal, those properties should be there. The grindability should be better.
You mean to say all coal properties, like whatever the calorific value and ash moisture, all should be meeting the just like coal properties.
There are no astringent requirement, like the ash content will definitely increase if you are torrefying. The ash content will increase because the mass is getting reduced.
Correct.
So the green pellet which you are referring to will be having lesser ash content, maybe less than 10%. Here you will end up with more than 20%. But the calorific value may improve by 25 to 30%. Grindability will improve manifold.
Yes. This study we have done, since we are in a coal department, we have the bomb calorimeters, and we have ashing furnaces. So we have this CHNS for determining the carbon, hydrogen, sulfur for the both green pellet as well as the black pellet also after purification. So these all studies, parameters we want to study. Now, is there any facility here to fund the project? Actually, we want to go for 100 kg per hour, 100 kg per day capacity. We are sure that in our bench scale studies, that is around 500 cc material that we have loaded in a fixed bed reactor, and we have optimized the conditions and the residence time also. And there is an improvement, like you said, in the calorific value and also in the moisture content of the final product.
And one major advantage is that volatile content also reduces from 65 to 70% to less than 30% or 20%.
Correct. So, that is why, you're right. That is why we have chosen combustor total process design, where these volatile gases should not go waste. We use it for the combustion. So that heat will be used for the heating of the coal, your initial raw material, which is coming from screw feeder. So we are considering that volatile gases also as a heating sources.
Yes.
And also we are planning to develop it on a mobile unit. So where this entire torrefication plant will fit on a back of the truck and to the fields where we can do torrefication, and then maybe that powder shifted to the nearby thermal power plants, or maybe there itself get it pelletized and ship the pellets to the plant. So these are the two we have options. We have two routes we have chosen. This all depends on the agency who support us for funding mainly the continuous torrefication unit.
So what I would request that you submit your designs. And if your design is shortlisted, then as per our terms and conditions, we have provision for handholding. So if we find the potential in your design, that it can be replicated at larger scale and it can be useful, it can be cost effective, and the capex and opex all are in optimum range, then we may handhold such participants.
Okay.
So maybe in many forms. It may be like a startup supports, or it may, those things we have actually not decided right now. So it may be like the seed funding or whatever it is. Those things are not yet decided.
Okay, sir.
So how we will handhold is all depends on the view of the management and your design and the view of the judges and the view of the panel of judges who will evaluate your design. So
Okay,
what
sir.
they suggest, all those things will maybe decided later on whether we will be funding your research project or not. But yes, some kind of handholding might be there.
Okay, sir. Okay, we will submit it, sir. We will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Next, please.
Yes, next participant.
Anyone? Sandeep Mandal. I'm just
yes, Amit, actually, I already talked to sir in the last session. So
yes.
accordingly, I maneuvered my design. I just
That's great. That's
yeah.
great. Anyone from the participants?
Am I audible?
Hello? Yes, you are audible.
Good evening. This is Himanchal Kaur from NIT Silchar. My
NIT
query is
Silchar. You are from NIT Silchar?
Yes. I'm Dr. Himanchal Kaur. I am in Department of Mechanical Engineering.
Okay, fine.
Actually, we are a group of 3 members, so we are also working on this model only. Probably right now, my query is that suppose you are going to make a diagram of this one. Are you going to design it by yourself, or are we going to do the prototype?
Your voice, I think, is interrupting in between. So, okay.
Am I audible now? Hello?
Yeah. You're
little louder, please.
Sorry, actually, I have some problem with this system. Okay. So, my query is that if I am going to give you the design, so am I the one who is going to build the prototype, or are you going to take over the prototype?
No, those things, as I told you, that we have not yet decided, but we hopefully, most probably, you will be making the prototypes, and that will be the second phase. Basically, right now, if you already have a prototype, then it is an added advantage for evaluators. But if you don't have the prototype, you are submitting only the design, then those designs you might be required to make a prototype in the second stage.
I mean, that will be at our own cost, most probably.
So that is all not decided right now. Yes, most probably it will be on your own cost, because it is a prototype. So prototypes are basically smaller things. So smaller models you can are chosen for the prototype, so that there is a lesser cost of construction initially, is the thing which is not proven commercially. So later on, if you decide to make a commercial model, or to make some startup using this, then in that case NTPC may also handhold. So those
Actually, means since we are an educational institute, we means we are not directly related to any means in a commercial activity.
Yeah,
So,
that is okay. So what kind of support you would need? That is why I'm saying that those things are not yet decided. Those are not the part of this hackathon already declared. So in this first phase, what we are doing is only the evaluation of the designs, and choosing the best one of them, so that they are most economical to operate as well as to construct. So and they produce quality material with best ecological benchmarks. So those are the basic requirements. And then the educational institutes might have some other requirements, and the entrepreneurs might have some different requirement, and some PhD scholars or some students might have some different requirements. So those based on those requirements, the future course of action might be decided. Those things are yet to crystallize in NTPC. We have the first phase is only for the evaluation of your theoretical design, or if you have a prototype, then evaluation of that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Next.
Yeah. Anyone?
Ankit, can I go ahead if there's no one else?
Yeah, you can ask, please.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. So I'll start with the first one. Actually, this we are going for the 10 tons per day cycle, but I want to know is 10 because we have a reactor that can take 10 tons material in one go, 10 tons capacity, so it can go from 8 to 8.5 to 9 tons. So do we have to change it for 5 tons per day and 2 batches in one day, or we can go for 10 tons per day because it will have impact on the costing? That is why I'm asking.
I think Sahab, Samkit, we have given some range, na 10 plus minus 20% or something.
Yes, we have given, sir.
So 20% is it 20%?
Yes, it's a 20%.
So 10 minus 20 is actually 8 tons. So it should be between 8 to 10 tons. If your model is already between 8 to 10 tons, then I don't think you need to redesign it.
Okay, because the capacity of the reactor is single equipment capacity is 8 tons, 8 to 9 tons. So what I'm asking is, if you are going per day cycle, I mean per day system with 2 cycles per day, then should we offer our solution with 5 tons per day, 5 tons per batch cycle, or 10 tons per batch? Because 10 tons loading is going to take 10 to 11 hours complete.
So you can say that it is a 10 hours operation, 10. So you can designate it like that.
Okay. And so my next question is this torrefied charcoal that we are going to get, what is the maximum yield that you are expecting from that? So I'm sorry, this minimum yield, is it 60, I mean the range 65 to 70% of the total weight, or anything like that?
All this depend upon the type of material you are using. So yield is basically depends on the volatile content in it. So volatile content in the final product must be within safe limit for coal fire oxidation, so that it will range between 20 to 30%. So for that, from 60 grams to 30 grams of volatile in 100 grams, so there is a 30. So the yield is definitely less than 70%.
So yield of the charcoal will be less than 70%.
So yield would be less than 70% as per that criteria. If you are using 65% or 70% volatile content material. So as I told you that it depends on the volatile content in the material itself. So what material you are using, the biomass which you are using, how much volatiles it has. So it depends on that. So there is no clear cut clear cut criteria for the yield. So basically, what we are interested in the final product, which is more suitable for firing in the power plants.
Okay.
So is it clear? Yield
Right.
is 65% or 70% or 80% or even 50%. That is not a not a bigger criteria to evaluate. The more important thing is that the coal which you are producing is more suitable for power plant utilization.
Okay. And so this moisture content in the raw material, what assumptions can we make? Should we make 10 to 15% or less than that already, because rice soil we are using?
If you are using the agro residue, then mostly this is around 20% or less, maybe 18 to 20%. We have come across. So it all depends on your the input material from where you are tying up and from where you intend to get it.
Okay.
So Mostly the dried bale contains around 20% moisture, 18 to less than 20% moisture. So maybe 18%, 15% in that range.
Okay. And so next thing is this limit on amount of fund. I mean, you've already told that this funding you haven't yet decided, but roughly, I mean, the amount of funding, is there any kind of limit on that, or?
Those things, even we are not sure that we will fund that. Okay. As I told you that there may be different requirements for different kind of participants. So what kind of hand holding NTPC will do at this stage, we are not declaring that.
Okay, sir. And for the commercial offer preparation, so this raw material cost, what should we assume? This rice straw cost, per kg cost of rice straw.
Those homeworks I think you should do. But as for our information, in Punjab, the rice straw is available between 1100 to 1600 rupees per ton, as per our information. But yeah, you should, if you are going to make a startup using this, then you should have your own data with you.
And last question from Samkit. Actually, I tried to upload the new PDF file, but I was not able to do it. I tried it multiple times, but this PDF is not getting uploaded. My final design.
Any error you are getting?
No, I'm not getting any error. It's showing. I'm getting the mail after that you have uploaded the file successfully, but still that same file is displaying the same file, not the updated one.
Okay. It can be possible with the older cache also. So you try in incognito mode, and if the same problem comes again, you just write down email, and our backend team will take care of it.
All right.
Just try again in incognito, and our backend team will see if it's not working again.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Any? Bunny? Anyone? Vanim Rata, you're asking question on chat. Can you ask here directly? Anyone? Last chance.
Even if you have any technical query, if you are finding something difficult in your design, and if you want to find out some solution, those things also you can discuss. And if you are afraid of discussing this in this platform, maybe you can connect to me later on. But this is a good opportunity, even if you ask in front of all, so the other people may also provide some solution.
Yeah.
Sir, I have one question actually. I was thinking for a long time. For a batch kind of process, I mean, for trapping the smaller particles, I mean, particulate matters, is it possible to install a electrostatic precipitator? Because I think that will need a high voltage, and its effectiveness will be very much less in a very less time.
So this all depends on your concept, how you want to do. Mostly for those for these small applications, people prefer to use bag filters.
Okay.
So, but it depends on you.
What I saw in some research papers that with cyclone separator itself, 80% of it can be separated.
Yeah, cyclone separator you can use. Then even you can use bag filters after cyclone separator. So there may be different options. The cheaper options are possible than this electrostatic precipitator, which will consume a lot of energy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Am I audible? Can I ask you another question?
Yes.
Actually, I was wondering if we generally use an inert gas environment. So you generally go for a nitrogen environment. can it be possible to replace nitrogen so that we can reduce the cost?
So again, the later part of the questions, this voice got some.
Okay, I'm sorry. Actually, I shall speak it a little bit slower. Actually, we are going for an inert environment, so we generally use nitrogen
Yes.
into that chamber, the reactor.
Yeah.
Is it possible to replace nitrogen so that we can reduce the cost?
Replace nitrogen. So you want some alternate gas to be used in this?
Something means something which will be cheaper, because nitrogen definitely it will be adding up if we cannot make it mobile also. Second thing is that it will add up the cost, the cylinders.
So the another option which many designs are incorporating is to use the flue gas itself as the inert medium. So the gases which you are
corrosive in
using.
nature. Generally, we found this flue gas might contain sulfur and something, and then water content will be there. The moisture content will be there.
And one more issue is there, that even this flue gas contains a lot of oxygen, so it is not entirely inert. So the material, because it is hot, it also oxidizes because of that, and the ash content increases. So this is only this basically your what you can say, the optimization of the system, that whether you can tolerate that much of reduction in the content or yield and or the loss of calorific value, or you want to use the inert gases like nitrogen to improve this characteristic. So this is all your optimization. But yes, if it is a cheaper, simpler version, you can use the flue gases, where in that case you should take care that flue gases, the excess oxygen in this flue gases are not much. So like you need to optimize the combustion in the furnace with lesser quantity of oxygen. So maybe only 20% or 30% more than the stoichiometric ratio. So if it is much less, then the combustion may not be proper. So for the combustion to take place properly, if it is a good turbulence furnace, then I think 20 to 30% oxygen is enough. 20 to 30% of excess air is enough.
Thank you.
Just have one question, sir. What is the currently the size of the coal particle that we are using in the the fire, actually the boiler? When you fire the coal, what is the size of the particle?
ये डीडी शर्मा है यहाँ पर? डीडी शर्मा है ना? डीडी शर्मा आंसर करो.
हाँ सर. Sir, actually the product after torrefaction should pass through either of the two tests. One is the grindability test. It must have the grindability more than 50.
50. Okay.
Okay. Otherwise it can pass the particulate distribution test or the sieve test, which is called. So from the 1 mm sieve, 70% or more should pass.
Okay, 70% should pass 1 mm. Okay. Yeah. No. Why I'm asking this question is, while we are making the torrefied product, if you take that maybe 1 mm or 2 mm size of, maybe 2 to 3 mm size of your agricultural waste material and torrefy it, if you bring it to 1 mm or 1.5 mm, that can straight away go into the boiler without any without making the pellet, and again breaking the pellet in the thermal power station. So maybe volume may be increased, but if the thermal power station is nearby the fields, that can be straight away transported. If it is very far from the fields, so those can be pelleted. So in the pellet, you have to again, it cost. You have to again break it after reaching the thermal power plant. So,
but basically the issue is that the material handling system
Yeah.
is designed for the transportation and handling of coal.
Coal, yeah.
So those the coal is basically the bulk material, higher density, and if we put this powder into that system, the conveyors, it will create lot of dust.
Dust, yeah.
So it will not be possible to transport that material through conveyors to the boiler. So we have to have the pellets.
Pellets, okay. Then we will go for a pellet, pellet mission. Yeah.
Otherwise, what could have been done is that if you pneumatically transfer this material from the plant, from this torrefaction plant to our boiler, then that is possible. Then in that case you don't need pellets. But in that case, the torrefaction plant should be near the boiler. It is situated in our power plant premises. Then the solution which you are suggesting is possible. But if you have to transport it and use the existing coal conveying system, then it needs to be pelleted. Pelleted or briquetted, whatever it is.
Yeah, pellet. We will go for a pelletation. So pelletation facilitate storing for a longer period.
And the transportation of the material from
densification. And also densification and transportation. So that is the advantage. Yeah, we have the front end, back end, characterization facilities. The front end. So all biomass materials can be characterized for what is the cellulose content, what is the lignocellulose, and also all parts of the plant, starting from the root to top stem and all, leaves and all. What are the carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur in it, and after torrefication, the torrefied product will also be characterized. So this data is actually should required for our Indian agricultural waste feedstocks. Once we have this data, we can modify whatever the designs we are having in hand according to what you said, the cost effectiveness. So whichever the model is very cost effective, so that design we will take it forward. But the front and back, we need to establish the data for the sulfur, nitrogen, and chlorine. These things also has to be studied. So we have the characterization facilities, but only we need a reactor. If you have a at least 5 kg per hour capacity plant, where we can get maybe closely 100 kg per day, and then that maybe decides actually whether it is commercially viable or not. But at the moment, bench scale studies, what we did at kind of batch reactors, fixed bed reactor, so they are very encouraging. I think we can go ahead with this torrefication, no doubt, and which is very simpler route compared to all the routes we have among the biomass conversions. So torrefaction is the very simplest route.
Yes.
Yeah, we are looking forward, sir. So we will see. Depending upon your decision, we will take it forward this project.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, I'm audible?
Yes.
Sir, I am Shiv Prakash Dadich, LNMIT PhD scholar. I want to ask, we can design torrefaction before pelletization or after pelletization?
So this is also your call, because both the things have their own advantages and disadvantages. Like if you make the pellets first and then torrefy, then these pellets being made up of the this agro substances, they are heat insulating substances. So you need lot of time to torrefy up to the core. So on the other hand, if it is crushed biomass, then it can be quickly torrefied in lesser time, because the heat, each and every particle of the agro residue is exposed to the heat. So this depends on the kind of reactor you are designing, how you are transferring heat from your heat source to the this agro mass. If it is a like some process like microwave, then you may not need the physical this transfer of heat because heat is generated inside. So in that case, pelletization might also be good idea before that. But all this depends on you, your call. How you can optimize the total cost. And the one major advantage of pelletizing first is that the reactor volume is fixed, so you can torrefy much more quantity mass wise if you pelletize it first. On the other hand, the density of this raw material, raw agro waste is less. So in that case, the total output of the system is less in case you are using the loose material and then later on producing the pellets. Uh, but all this you have to see whether which option will be cheaper, which option will be more economical uh, for operation as well as construction of the machine.
Okay, sir. Sir, another question from my side. I want to ask, we want to design the plant from raw material to final product, or design only torrefaction chamber?
Raw material to final product.
Okay, sir.
Even the feeding system, all these things I have we have given in this. Each and every part has its own challenges. Like if you are having the raw material, this agro residue like rice straw, feeding it into the reactor itself is a challenge because it forms a bridge. When you shred it and feed it into a reactor, the feeding chute becomes choked because of the formation of bridge due to the bridge formation of this material itself. Uh, so those issues also you have to tackle. Then like initially the material is having lignin content. If you expose it to more heat, then lignin is damaged. So then you need some binder to make the pellets. If you are making pellets later on after torrefaction. But if you expose the material to some lower heat and the lignin is still there after torrefaction, then maybe some pressure will be able to bond the material into pellets or briquettes. So there are challenges at every step, not only just the torrefaction reactor.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Like if the material comes out from the reactor very hot, it will oxidize it by itself because of the presence of oxygen outside. So you need to cool it before it comes out. So the whole process needs to be designed to commercially being implementable.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Okay, fine. So any other question?
Yeah, all the participants, last call for asking the question.
Hello.
So one question on the chat, that particular participants has some problem in mic. How much percentage C are you expecting in the charcoal? It's maybe carbon. If I'm getting it right. Banim Rata.
How much percentage of carbon you are expecting in charcoal?
Yes, yes.
This is we are not expecting anything. It is all depending on your process. So you have to basically it is not that I say that the carbon should be more than 40% or 30%, otherwise your model will fail. I'm not saying that. It all depends on the type of agro residue, the process time, the torrefaction temperatures, and the removal of the volatile gases, and then final product. So this is all basically your system balance. So that you have to tell me that sir, this is the carbon percentage in the rice straw, this is the carbon percentage in my coal, and why it is, how it is getting this much of percentage of carbon, and then what is the calorific value of the final product. So you have to find out all those things. So it is not that that particular carbon is there, then only your model will be passed or your entry will be passed. It is not so.
Hi, this is Manoj here. Am I audible?
Yes.
I represent GoNV Technologies, sir. Me, Bani, and Nandish are the team members. We have been in pyrolysis for last 7-8 years now, basically in plastic pyrolysis. So we have commercial plants, and we have even supplied to CSIR and Kumaon University.
So what is being liquid fuel? Plastic to
plastic to liquid fuel, sir. We have successful models, commercial models up to 10 tons per day capacity. And these are batch type, and the last Swachh Sarvekshan my company project has won at Petlad Nagarpalika in Gujarat.
So we are going to install one such project at Badarpur, so you may contact my team member Himanshu is there, I think.
Himanshu is in touch with me, sir. We had spoken once about the project. Now coming to this project, we did some trials with bamboo as my raw material feed, because this part it would be very difficult for us to get the rice husk. So are we restricted to using that as a raw material feed, or it will be a multi product?
Basically, this the
multiple raw materials.
Yeah, multiple raw materials can be used, but the main this trigger for this project was the pollution in the NCR region, which is mainly caused by this rice stubble burning in the Punjab and Haryana. So so basically this your model, once you make it, it should be able to torrefy any other material also. But yes, it can be suitable for multiple products.
Sir, we actually have done I don't own a plant. I generally set up the plants for the clients. So we had done some trials with coconut shell and bamboos. These are the two raw materials which, because the carbon should have commercial value, that is why we use those products at that time. My team is more hardcore into manufacturing, establishing, training, and taking the process. So this experience we have, and 100% guaranteed to work, that kind of a model. And from 100 kg to 10 tons we have scaled up slowly with different designs. Now our next challenge is to go higher, like 50 tons, 100 tons in continuous mode, because all my machines are in batch type. So that is the stage at which we are. We have already submitted the design for 1 ton, basically because we really would like to experiment first with different feedstock and understand.
Basically, this bamboo and the coconut shell, they are easier to feed. They are easier to feed into the reactor, but this rice straw has additional challenges of flowability. So we should incorporate some features that it can also utilize the rice straw, because the prime objective has been to use rice straw also, or the low density materials, because these you are talking about are high density materials which are easy to put into the.
Because like you said, the bridging would be a problem when we feed rice husk. So I will revise my designs and try to implement it. Yeah. All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, I'm Engineer Maniram Jati speaking from Roorkee. Sir, we are doing already work of such carbonized barbecue charcoal, using sawdust and pine needles. Sir, can you participate also in this competition?
लास्ट में क्या बोला, आपकी आवाज कट गई.
Sir, we are doing already such carbonized prototype using rice husk, not sawdust and pine needles.
Yes.
Yes, and rice husk also can be merged with sawdust, because only rice husk doesn't work. Single rice husk doesn't bind in briquettes. Actually, we are using Propler.
So, what is your question? I have not understood your
Yes.
question.
Can we also participate in this competition?
So everybody can participate, but I'm not able to understand your question. So what you want? You want to use your existing machine, which is designed for rice husk and pine needles, to use this rice straw also.
Sir, rice husk, sawdust, and pine needles.
Rice
These
husk,
three
I am
types of.
not saying. I am saying rice straw. Do you understand difference between straw and husk?
Yes, sir. I understand difference between straw and rice husk, and all people use rice husk, sawdust, and pine needles. Currently, we are not using straw,
So
because
you may test your machine using straw also, and then you may submit the entries.
Okay.
If you need to modify it, you modify it according to rice straw also.
Yeah.
If you make the machine using for suitable for rice straw, it is possible to feed other materials also. But if you have made your machine to feed some easier material like this coconut shell and this higher density materials like bamboo and other things, then it may not work for lighter biomasses.
Actually, sir, we process densification briquettes and then make its paralysis.
Yeah, that
to
can
convert it.
that you can do. So those are the two approaches which the people discussed earlier also. Yes, that is also possible. You can do that. So make the pellets first, and then feed into your reactor, and then sure, so you do that.
Yes, sir. We are making
But
briquettes first, and then
ultimately, your model should be cost effective. The brick pellet should not break in that process of torrefaction. Otherwise, you will need to make pelletization again after torrefaction. So 2 times of pelletization cost will be there in that case. So you have to see the overall economics.
no. Actually, our final products is high densified and is, very effective quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then what is the doubt in your mind that why you cannot submit?
Yeah, sir. That charcoal is currently using in hotel industries to cooking food.
So what is your doubt? Why you are apprehensive that you whether you should submit or not?
Sir, actually, there was discuss about rice straw. So I thought our material and process is
So
some difference.
why don't you test your machine using rice straw? You are saying you are using pellets, so then you use the rice straw pellets.
Yeah, sir. We can do that. Yeah, we will try. And our currently process use some dryers, crushers, etc. machines to process final product.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, sir. I will try with rice straw also, and participate with our current materials. Maybe it may be helpful. Or sir, our project will overcome forest fires, especially for pine needles. Hello.
Yes, yeah, tell me. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Our project was to overcome forestry fires,
Yes.
which which occurs due to pine needles.
Okay.
That's why we make this model.
Mm-hmm.
But we will also rice cyst also. We will
Okay.
try this.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Last call, everybody.
शिव प्रकाश जी, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है। आपकी कोई आवाज नहीं आ रही है शिव प्रकाश जी।
I think Shiv Prakash ji also.
Hello. Sir, I'm audible, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, now you are
Sir,
audible.
I just please say the verified parameters. 11 minutes.
अभी आप available नहीं है, आप अपना टेक्स्ट में क्वेश्चन भेज दीजिए।
हाँ, if I can read on the chat, शिव प्रकाश जी, आपने पूछा है, sir please share torrefied fuel pellet parameters as discussed.
नहीं, क्या पैरामीटर इसमें? तो torrefaction is a process where you are exposing this material in the absence of oxygen to heat up to 200-300 degrees centigrade. So this is all converted into charcoal like thing. So what is the other parameters? Those you have to tell me that these are my parameters. Main thing is that this material should appear like coal, it should have grindability like coal, it should have higher GCV than the base material, then it should be it should have lesser volatile content from maybe 65 to 70%. In the initial material it should drop to less than 30%. So these are the general criteria of torrefaction. So what else you need?
Shiv Prakash,
if I specify exact some things like these values should be this much, then one or two low or high will create problem. So there's no use in specifying them some rigid values for anything. Basically, my intent is to use this material into power plant as a replacement of coal. So for that purpose, I need good grindability. I need volatile content less than 30%. I need some good calorific value. So these are the basic things.
Yeah, I think Shiv Prakash is disconnected.
Okay.
That's probably no issue. So again, anyone? This is the last call and last question. Shiv Prakash.
शिव प्रकाश जी तो दे रहे हैं। आई थिंक उन्होंने सुन लिया हमारा आंसर सुन लिया शिव प्रकाश जी आपने?
I think he's still figuring out to connect.
Actually, it is also. Please, I'm join again. Please repeat, sir.
So
कोई रिजिड वैल्यूज हमने स्पेसिफाई नहीं करी हैं। मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव हमारा है इस कोयले को यूज करना पावर प्लांट में। तो फॉर दैट पर्पस द कोल शुड हैव गुड ग्राइंडेबिलिटी. So the grindability, my colleague has already told you, it should be HGI should be more than 50. And then also this material should have good calorific value, and volatile content should not be very high like the 70-65% in the base material it is. So it should drop at least below 30%. So these are some of the factors which are required for this this material to be used smoothly in power plant. So no rigid values are required. No rigid values we have specified.
Then we get the literature review. then we compare with literature review as available on internet.
Yes. You may give your values. So these are the values which we have find out. So the other things like chemical properties, etc., depend on the input material. So in that case, the input material may be restricted if it is harmful for our boiler. Like suppose some material has very high value of chlorine or sulfur, so we may restrict that material.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then we are closing the session. Any final words, Amit ji, you want to say to all the participants?
So it is good that you are all trying very hard to develop good commercial models, and it is heartening to understand that you have all put up your hard work into this. So thanks for that. I hope for your success and success of this mission of developing indigenous technology for this kind of challenge for our environment and for the development of green renewable power using this material which is causing a lot of pollution. Thank you. Best of luck. You are not audible.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm just saying any expected price about plant.
The price basically the for the smaller machines the objective is to that those machines would be owned by the individual farmers who are owning 3-4 acres of land, so it should be affordable to them. And the larger machines might be owned by some entrepreneur or cooperatives. So maybe 10 tons or higher size machines would be owned by the entrepreneurs or cooperatives. So those may be slightly higher. So basically the cost should be such that the production cost of charcoal is competitive with cost of coal. So maybe if we can bring down the cost of charcoal to less than 1 rupee per 1,000 kilocalorie. For example, if you are able to make 4,000 kilocalorie coal using this, then if the cost of charcoal is less than 4 rupees for the 4 rupees per kg, that would be ideal. But let us see what you can do. So this is don't be guided by these these figures rigidly. All these things what I am talking about are just for the sake of understanding that we are interested to bring down the cost of this technology so that the coal can be utilized at a larger scale by power plants. But this might not be possible right now. Maybe it will take 2-3 more rounds after making the first models, or maybe it will take 2-3 more years to optimize all the things. So those are the objectives which may have long-term timelines also. But for right now, you should try to make the efforts to make the models as cheap as possible, as cost effective as possible, as in operating also, and converting the material into charcoal at a cost effective manner. Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
sir. Thank you.
To you, all of you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all. And you will find this video on your portal on webinar section if you want to recall all the answers, all the questions. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. And best of luck, all of you. Yeah. Thank you, Amit ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, NTPC team.